you looking to build a new home or possibly take on a project development as part of your investment strategy? Today, we're lucky enough to hear from Director Angelo Rossi from Ultimo Constructions on what you need to do before you get started on your next building project. Hi Ange, thanks for coming on to Perth Property Hub today.
Thanks for having me.
So what do people need to be aware of before they start on their building journey?
I think the most important thing to think about when you start your journey is setting your budget from the beginning and finding a broker that understands construction, how the construction industry works, and gaining a pre-approval. These are the, without a pre-approval or a budget in mind, you don't know where you can and can't build, you don't know what block to look for, you don't know how big the house needs to be. So they're the most important factors, I think, is setting your budget and finding a broker as well. A broker is important because there are lots of brokers out there. But if the broker does not understand construction and the progress payment schedules and how the whole process works, it'll be a big debacle from the beginning. They need to understand the whole process. It's very, very important.
And it's about working to that budget as well, isn't it? Because if they know up front exactly how much they've got to spend, then that's going to make the start of that process with you much easier.
Oh, 100%. Knowing that budget, that'll determine the size of the house you're going or the style you're going for. And that would mean that we can include the important things that you want in the house, like that pool or that open fireplace or that floating staircase, the things that are must have in your house. We'll be able to achieve that if we make the house the right size to suit your budget. So it's very, very important. If not, we can design something that's way out of your budget, and then you can't have those important things that are important to you, and the whole process is not how you wanted it to go.
And it becomes a disappointment rather than getting excited about it.
Oh yes, you have to. We have to tell people we have to take stuff out of the house, and the most important factors that you want in there need to be in there. So it's about getting that right from the beginning. If we've got a budget to work with, we can normally hit the nail on the head with exactly how big the house needs to be and get those important factors in there for you.
And how important is it to find the right piece of land?
Once again, land is important. If it's your forever house, the piece of land that you buy needs to be close to the kids' schools or close to the beach or close to the hills or those important elements that you want for your forever house. The park or where the kids play sport or all those type of things. Your favourite coffee shop can be as simple as that. If you're doing it for development, it's really important to find what's going to sell in the development, whether it's close to the train station or close to the university, or depending what market you're trying to target with the development stuff, there's the most important. Normally centrally located, around amenities, things that are important that's going to get you the money you want for your development is important. There's also certain factors you've got to think about for a block where people won't look at, where the sewer line is. That's going to determine where you can and can't build on the block. Things as simple as a verge tree is going to determine where your driveway can go. You can't change verge tree position. So if you're thinking about having this house and having your driveway on the left-hand side and there's a verge tree there, well then you can't do it. So your driveway's on the right-hand side, and that might be completely not what you're looking for and affect your design. So I think it's important that if you are looking for a block, have a quick chat to a builder or a designer, someone that can give you those few tips. And like a sewer is a big one. If that's running through your property, you can't build down that side of the house. That could mean the difference of you having a swimming pool or not having a swimming pool. So I think getting a bit of advice on that from the beginning will be very important and very helpful for you.
So it's almost doing it the opposite way around. Find your builder and your house that you want to build first, and then go and look for the block. Yeah,
in that sort of order, you'd budget, builder, block. That way you got advice on every angle. You know what you can and can't build. You know what block's going to suit you, and if that is possible to build what you want on that block, and then you can find the land that suits. So obviously without a block, it's hard for us to do a design or anything like that. But knowing your budget, knowing what you're trying to achieve, whether you want the swimming pool or you want the corner block or you want the big garage or whatever, finding those things, finding the land that's going to suit that is very, very important.
And when it comes to the design aspect, how important is it for someone to actually find a designer that really resonates with their idea?
Very, very important. For me, you have to have a designer that understands what you're trying to achieve, what your end goal is, and having that vision. If you're not aligned with the person and the vision that you're trying to achieve, you're not going to get the house you want. The designer needs to understand, how you live, how you want to live, whether you want the open plan, whether you want, the kids' bedrooms upstairs, and understanding all those important factors and how you live is very, very important. And also cost and budget. That way the designer can factor in those key elements that you want and factor it into the design with the size of the house to make sure that we achieve your budget at the end of the day.
And you at Ultimo have an in-house designer, so each of your designs are very individual, aren't they?
Yes, they are. We've got 2 or 3 different guys that we work with. Once again, it's depending on what you're trying to achieve, and different guys. We've got one guy that is really good in property development because he's very cost effective to draw, and he maximises potential on site and gives you good return on your money. We've got other guys that specialise in custom built homes that really resonate, and they're both very different in the way they design. So depending on the sort of what you're trying to achieve, we will work out which we think is going to be the best for you and get the process going through it like that.
So what are some of the common mistakes you would see when people are designing their home?
The most common one we see is people don't follow the process that we discussed earlier. It's more about budget and so forth, and they go to a designer and they put everything they want into this house with no reflection on their budget. And then they come to us with this house, which is great, really big and massive, and then we start costing it up, and they're $100,000, $200,000 over their budget, and then we have to start stripping the house back, and then they've lost all interest in it. The key elements they want, they can't have, and the whole process is just a downward spiral. It's not a great way to do stuff. So setting that budget before you design is the most important thing, I think.
So Ange, what are some of the benefits of someone using a small boutique builder like Ultimo?
I think the first one is personalised service and understanding your vision and what you're trying to achieve. Volume builders tend to work off cookie cutter plans, which they copy and paste onto a block, where we start the whole design process from day dot, understand your vision, what you're trying to achieve, and what we can get the most out of your block for you. So I think that personalised service and understanding your vision are the 2 major things that you will get from a boutique builder.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on to Perth Property Hub today.
Thanks for having me.